Hi everyone, welcome to a sponsored webinar by Intuit, hosted by CPA Australia. Power your practice and improve your return on investment with AI. My name is Ketty Waller and I'm Head of Public Practice and SME here at CPA Australia. We have people joining us today from all over the country, so welcome. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional owners from around Australia and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I extend this acknowledgement to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who may be joining us today. It is now my pleasure to invite Brendan Hill, Head of Content Marketing at Metigy, and David Weinberger, Head of Growth Marketing at Metigy. Today we will be taking questions through the Q&A box as Joelle spoke about. Please direct all questions to all panelists. We will address these questions at the conclusion of the webinar presentation, depending on the amount of time remaining. For any troubleshooting queries, please send a message to the host using the chat box function. It is now time for our session to commence, and I would like to hand over to Brendan. Thanks, Brendan.
Real actionable. Oops, sorry, I think I was muted. Thanks, Ketty. And thanks everyone for attending today. Really excited to be with you and walk you through some of the proven ways and proven and now 2021. And we want to help you power your practice and improve your ROI using AI. And how the webinar is designed today, it's mostly going to be education, giving you case studies and actionable insights about what's working, so you can go away today and start using these tactics straight away. I've also got David, who is the head of performance marketing and growth marketing at Metigy, on the call today as well. And we'll also give you at the end of the webinar a brief 5 to 10 minute presentation on our Metigy platform, how we use AI to really drive the performance of your marketing efforts. And at Metigy, during 2021, we've recently raised a $20 million round of funding. We're growing fast, so we're really going to pull back the curtain, show you what's working in our marketing strategy, your practices, your small businesses. We work with over 8,000 small businesses around the world, and these are the real principles that are working in every type of business. And before we move on, we have 3 bonuses that you'll be eligible at for people that stay to the end of the webinar. So you can go into the running to have a 30-minute strategy call with the Metigy Senior Content Lead, Andrew Mara. And I think Andrew's on the call today, and he's helped build the Metigy, American Express, Audi, and Sony marketing strategies over the last 10 years. So a very valuable 30-minute session that you'll go into the draw to win with Andrew. And then we also have a great partnership with Google, and we're working very closely with Google. So we're going to choose one lucky practice owner to get $500 worth of free Google ad spend, ad credits, and get our head of performance marketing, Kevin, to optimize and set up that Google campaign for you so you can maximize your ROI. So some fantastic bonuses. We have a lot of resources, a lot to get through today. So David's going to talk a bit more about Metigy's platform. We're the world's leading digital marketing support technology, made specifically for SME marketers. And we give the recommendations, insights, and resources, and we help the average business, improve their results 2 to 3x quarter on quarter. We're also building a really large program, community for forward-thinking marketers as well. It's called the Metigy Learning Program. That's where we have different video resources. We have an award-winning podcast where we interview different business owners each week to see what's really working and growing their articles, things around how to set up your Google ads, your Facebook ads, your Instagram marketing. So we have all these articles written by industry experts that have been there and done that before, really lifting back that curtain again and showing you what really works. So we'll be putting a link to that at the end of the presentation as well. But today, you know, we're really here to try and help you guys, you know, kickstart your growth for 2021. And as you all know, it's a tough time at the moment. You know, 38% of companies are cutting their marketing spend due to COVID-19. And, you know, I was a small business owner myself. I had a marketing background, but it was still hard for me to, you know, either get the time to do the marketing and see what was really working. So with all these budget cuts as well, you know, it's important to really be conscious of your budget as well. So we have lots of articles around this, you know, topical content on, you know, how to get the most out of your marketing budget. You know, you can do things like, you know, repurpose your content, you know, organic SEO, you know, starting a podcast, leveraging your community for content distribution, you know, collaborating with external influencers and partners as well. And a few examples I'm going to touch on today, you know, LinkedIn video is working really well for a lot of our customers at the moment. So I wanted to get a sense of what you guys are really struggling with at the moment. So Ketty's going to open up an open-ended poll now. You know, feel free to submit your questions here. You know, be as specific as you want to. And then David and myself at the end of the call will try to get to as many questions as we can. So I believe, Ketty, this will be opening up very soon for you guys to jump in the chat box, put in your struggles. Be honest, it's a safe space. We're here to help. You know, so I think this question will stay open for a few minutes. And then the second question that we have, oops, sorry, Ketty.
No, I was just going to say it's certainly open at the moment, so please pop your answers in the chat box and I can keep you updated with those, Brenton.
Perfect, perfect. And then the second question that we have today, multiple choice. You know, what is the most important part of your digital marketing strategy in 2021? So I can see that one has just opened up as well. So looking forward to seeing the answers in about 10 to 15 minutes. So as I said, it doesn't matter what level of marketing expertise you're currently at. You might know nothing, like Jon Snow at the beginning of Game of Thrones. But hopefully at the end of today, we'll be able to get you, you know, slaying a few White Walkers and really equip you with more marketing knowledge. And I mean, as I said before, when I was a small business owner, it's super hard to find time to do the marketing. You know, you have to deal with customers, have to do the accounting, deal with employees. But, you know, it's definitely hard to dedicate that time to the all-important marketing piece. I mean, I saw a statistic the other day, you know, 50% of businesses in the US fail after 2 years. And the main reason is that they don't know how to do their marketing effectively. So that's something that, you know, the Metagy platform can really help with, Metagy learning resource in this session today. So here we are. So one thing that, you know, I see happen time and time again with different businesses I've worked with over the last 15 years is really trying to make their marketing strategy and specifically their content marketing strategy defensible. So what do I mean by that? So a good example is content marketing. And, you know, a great example I saw recently of, you know, why content is so important. You only have to look as far as Disney Plus. So, you know, Disney took a complete pivot on their distribution model. You know, they went to a direct-to-consumer model and, you know, they're acquiring people like, you know, Lucasfilm, who are behind the Star Wars franchise. They're acquiring Marvel, you know, and both of those acquisitions were for $4 billion each. And the reason for the acquisition was to get their content. And I'm going to go through why content can really be the superhero for your business in the next couple of slides. And I guess the good news, you know, if you're using Metagy and, you know, listen to some of the tips for today, you don't have to be a George Lucas or Stan Lee to really start creating amazing content. And another thing that content can do, if you have a solid content strategy, and, you know, hopefully one of you will be talking to our head of our content lead, Andrew Mara, later today, is that, you know, most businesses, most practices, you know, they're much the same thing, and together, you know, same with small businesses and startups as well. they're doing generic Facebook advertising, generic Google ads. It doesn't differentiate them from the competition. It's not defensible. A different practice can just come in and outbid you on those keywords, for example. So that's something that content does well. It's a great way to get started from zero. It's scalable as well. Great content equals great brand. People want to see behind the scenes of your practice. They want to see that, you're trustworthy. They're trusting you with their money. So you really need that high degree of transparency and trust, and content is a great way to do that as well. And it can also be leveraged to achieve multiple goals, very flexible and modular strategy. So I'll show you exactly how it's working at Metigy at the moment. And, we have got a team of 40 in Australia, Singapore, US at the moment. So I don't want you to get scared. No matter what size you are, these principles apply to any type of practice or small business. So at the moment, we're actually writing 38,000 words each month. So let me break that down for you. That's, we get our podcast transcribed, which turns into about 25,000 words. We get video transcriptions, which is about 5,000 words. Partner blogs, guest blogging, 2,000, email 2,000, our Metigy learning blogs, usually 1 or 2 a week, 500 to 1,000 words each. So basically each month we're writing a short novel, about the size of The Shawshank Redemption by Stephen King. Fantastic book. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the movie as well.
Brendan, that might be a good spot just to have a quick look at the poll results, which hopefully you can see here, because it looks like social media and content strategy are two of the biggest sort of challenges. So that might be a good segue just to talk about that.
Yeah, perfect. So, that's exactly it. So, it sounds like a lot of you, have an idea of how you want to grow your business. And, these two areas, we specialize in at Metigy, and, helping you, define the strategy, build the strategy, and promote it in the best way possible, and being the most effective with your budget spend as well, powered by our AI algorithms. So our aim is to get up to 576,000 words next year, which is the length of the Fellowship of the Ring. The Lord of the Rings novel. And, in terms of creating content, so, you have to create this unique content and then, distribute it through your social media platforms. A lot of you might not have a marketing or writing background, but, no one ever gets talker's block if you just write how you talk. A famous quote by marketing guru Seth Godin. And, I wasn't a particularly strong writer as well. And get that, transcription from your voice recording as well. And, it's always easy to create some piece of content. And we've got some great how-to guides again on Metigy Learning. So once you create this defensible content, we like to use what we call a content pillar strategy. And I've got some examples of companies that do this well in here, companies that you've heard of like Canva, Shopify. These guys really grew and became household names through their content strategies. So what is a content pillar strategy? So it's taking it's creating a pillar piece of content. So that might be something like a LinkedIn video, it might be you in front of camera. It might be a case study from one of your practice's clients. It could be a short podcast. It could be a Clubhouse meetup that you do. So it's really creating a quality piece of content. And then this piece of, and you can create 5 to 10 micro pieces of content from this. So you might get some quotes from a podcast, and then you can repurpose that into an Instagram quote tile, for example. You can create a blog post from a podcast easily. And there's just so many different ways that you can repurpose content, so many great platforms. And the great thing about Metigy is that you can hook up all your platforms in one place and see what's giving you the best ROI for your spend. We've got some different types of content on our website that you can check out. We did a video series with Optus called Small Business Over a Small Coffee. And, we only did this with one cameraman. So it's easy to, hire a cameraman off somewhere like Airtasker or freelancer.com. And then, there's always a lot of video editors around that you can hire on Upwork, Fiverr.com as well. So there's lots of ways to get to these quality pieces of content. Everyone has a 4K camera in their pocket now with your Android or iOS device as well. Another thing that's working well is collaboration with other people in your space. So a recent article that we did, we reached out to 25 different marketing experts during COVID just to see what they're doing differently. And this is great for your distribution as well. So these 25 people, they all shared the article across their social media networks. So we got a lot of inbound traffic from that as well. Great for your SEO strategy. Google is seeing that you're getting a lot of links from relevant high authority people. And across their social networks, we got a lot of inbound as well from that. And it also, really establishes you as an authority in the space, which is an added bonus and really goes back to that, good content equals good brand point that I mentioned earlier before. And at Metigy, we're as well. And you only need to look at the statistics. 81% of all internet traffic this year will be video-based. You've got social media networks like TikTok, which doesn't work the best for business that we found yet. YouTube. And one of the ones that I wanted to highlight today, one of our previous podcast guests, Sally Illingworth, who's a LinkedIn influencer, the #1 in Australia. Some of you may have seen her posts online. She did an interesting experiment where she took 10 brand new businesses. I believe a couple of them were accounting practices as well. They had a zero content presence across their LinkedIn channels. And what they did, they posted one video a day for 10 days straight. And, these weren't super high production, Marvel, Hollywood production value videos. These are just short 2-camera pieces, straight down the iPhone back, uploaded natively to LinkedIn. And the results for this were, absolutely mind-blowing. I think the sort of uplift, they had 2,000 views on average across their 10 different videos, a lot of leads coming in. And I can send you the link to, this test and the interview where Sally talks about it in the resources section after the webinar. Super interesting case study on, how you can get started quickly in 10 days. And we have a lot of how-to videos and articles on Metigy Learning that can show you, quick and dirty ways to get your first video live. Another interesting statistic you need to consider when creating these videos, the average human attention span, it's actually less than a goldfish now. So in the last 7 years, it's actually decreased from 12 to 8 seconds. And the attention span. So why is this important? No one wants to sit, especially on their phone when they're scrolling through their infinite feed. No one wants to sit and see a boring video. So you need to keep it quick, concise, to the point, no long animated intros or anything like that. Get your head on camera straight away. What value can you provide the viewer of this video? And that's how you're going to get the best results. And the great thing about content strategy, and we're really seeing this at Metigy at the moment, it just keeps compounding so that, you can go back, for example, every year and, update the articles, put in new statistics and new case studies, and everything just keeps compounding. That's because the Google bots, they keep crawling your site, for example. They see that you have quality content, it's being served to the right audience, and the Google users bump you up the organic rankings as well. Same thing on most social media platforms as well. If you have high quality content, you might put a bit of spend behind the promotion. It's just going to keep compounding in so many different ways. Like, our podcast has been out for 18 months, for example, and we get people, keep listening to new episodes, all kinds of interesting opportunities to come through there to collaborate with people signing up to our platform. So it's just a fantastic way. I think Einstein called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world, and I'm sure you guys will appreciate what a powerful force it can be. So one of the problems when it actually comes time to, kicking off this content strategy and marketing strategy is, as I've mentioned a couple of times before, where do you get the time to do it? And it's what I really call superhero syndrome. So, some of us own our own practice, own our own businesses, acquisition. We think we can just grind. We think we can just do everything. Well, I mean, the good news is it's never been easier to, build a cost-effective outsourced team, use a tool like Metigy, which can really act as your own personal digital strategist. Someone that did this fantastically well was Melanie Perkins in the early days of Canva. She really leveraged her users, user-generated content, which is another thing that, you guys can do. Reach out to your top 3 to 5 customers, ones that have an interesting story, write a short case study on them, give them some publicity in your network as well. It works really well for us here at Metigy as well. And, a lot of the big companies have proven that it's a fantastic way forward. So I guess the interesting thing is, no one marketing strategy is going to work 100% every time, but you can, and one of the best ways to do this is to really drill down and get to know your competitors. And, as Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, to know your enemy, you must become your enemy. So a fantastic feature in Metigy that David will talk about later, it's actually the competitor analysis. So you can track what's working for your competitors. And there's a few manual ways you can do this as well. There's a few free traffic sites that I'll tell you about on the next slide. You can actually, put in the URL of your competitors, see what they're actually doing to convert that prospect into a client. You can see if they're using email marketing, you can see their Facebook ad creative, their Google ad creative. And, why it is important is, another thing that you can do, you can select these top and, be a big gorilla, get on the phone, see what they do to, convert you into a client, sign up to their email newsletter list, and there's so many things that you can do to really research your competitors. These are some of the websites where you can just plug in your competitor's URL. We've got SimilarWeb, SpyFu, SEMrush, Ubersuggest, and these are a great wealth of knowledge to really start uncovering what's working for your clients, your competitors, because at the end of the day, as the Wolf of Wall Street says, guessing is not profitable, knowing is profitable. And with that, I want to hand over to David Weinberger from Metigy. He's going to take us through a lot of the functionality that can help you out with a lot of the points that I've already talked about today. We'll have a look at our competitor tracking module as well. So I'm going to jump in, see if there's any questions from the audience, and we've got Andrew, David, and myself who can jump in and start to answer them while David gets set up.
Awesome. I think one of the questions, or one of the things that a user, Stella, mentioned that she was looking to work on over the next year and is engagement. And we had another one from Victor to say lack of time and resources. Brendan, did you want to address that one, or did you?
Yeah, I mean, that lack of time and resources, that's probably the number one question that we get from a lot of our users. And, that's the number one pain point that we solve for our users as well. It's expensive to hire a dedicated marketing person. It's very time consuming to learn. Practice them is another thing entirely. So we have some, my recommendation, I the free trial of Metigy. That'd be a great place to start. You know, we have a lot of articles on our website on how you can build out a remote marketing team. We always have, you know, articles about which marketing tactics work the best. You know, I mentioned that LinkedIn example, where the 10 LinkedIn videos in 10 days, you know, that's not a huge time commitment, and you can see some instant results from that. The great thing about LinkedIn at the moment as well, depending on how big your sort of following is, it's not as busy as, you know, your Facebooks and your Instagrams. So you'll still get more engagement without necessarily having to put some ad spend on the back of that as well. But, you know, in terms of engagement, you know, building an email list is a great and cost-effective way to building one-on-one direct relationship with your user. You know, Facebook and Instagram don't own that user. You know, you have that direct relationship through your email list, and, you know, there's a lot of free email tools like MailChimp and GetResponse where you can start to build that list and, you know, keep providing them with value. And I think that covers the sort of engagement and cost questions as well. And David, I know you have a few answers about this in your demo as well coming up.
Yeah, I'll definitely be addressing some of those things. So they're really relevant questions and concerns that are brought up by a lot of SMEs that we talk to. So we're quite engaged with our community of forward-thinking marketers here at Metigy. And we definitely hear these things mentioned a lot. Just to round off a couple of things that Brendan touched on there with regards to engagement. So, you know, if we're looking at the way the algorithm works on platforms like Facebook these days, is the organic algorithm is really working against you. You really have a inspiring piece of content that really drives people to engage with it. You know, tag their friends or their partners, leave a comment, and it's really a big challenge for a lot of SMEs because they're unsure of what that content might look like. And to take that a step further is to say that Facebook also limits your reach on organic content. Unfortunately, if you don't have a piece of viral content, which, you know, does happen from time to time, but is still quite rare, they're going to push you to make a small investment in your ads in order to increase that reach and frequency. So, you know, it might be something as small as $5 on a post, and you'll see exponential increase in results. So that's one really practical way on getting fast results, because we know a lot of small businesses don't necessarily have time to, I guess, wait for results to start coming in. So a really quick and easy way is to put a few dollars behind different social media posts, and you'll see that engagement rise really quickly. And that other point about saving time, well, we've got the perfect tool for that. So just to recap, before I jump into that demo to show you exactly how we can save you time and money, I'm David. I'm the head of growth marketing here at Metigy, and, you know, I look after all things performance marketing as well. And I guess that puts me in the best position to take you through the Metigy platform and show you exactly how we use it and how our users are getting the most benefit from it as well. So just to recap on a couple of things that Brendan mentioned as well throughout the presentation, but, you know, we're an AI and decision support technology, and what that really means is we use technology to help you drive real marketing results based on ROI. Because at the end of the day, we're not here for the fluffy stuff. We really want to see the effort we're putting in is giving us direct benefit back to the business. So long story short, and I'll touch on these key messages throughout the presentation, but, you know, Metigy makes marketing easy. It's built for SMEs by SMEs. It's ROI focused, so we use our buying power to bring down costs for you, and that's a real benefit of using Metigy as opposed to you know, spending more time on going from platform to platform to manage your content and your marketing. And it helps automate the process as well. So you can start scheduling content in advance, scheduling you know, perhaps some small investment in your ad spend as well, And we all know that if you're servicing clients, time is money. So we want to get back to focusing on our businesses. But at the core of the offering is our AI-powered real-time insights, which you can see on the right-hand side here. It's a list of recommendations that we serve to you based on your business and your incoming data. So once you sign on, you connect some of your channels, be it Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever it may be, and then our AI is working 24/7 to analyze that information to give you some detailed instructions on what you need to do next based on impact. So we'll always put the highest impact insight or recommendation at the top, and then you can just work through an itemized list. So it takes the thinking out of it, and as Brendan mentioned, it's like having your own digital strategist. On average, we see that people who follow our recommendations and insights get 2 to 3 times improvement for conversions quarter on quarter. So we know it is something that we can back up and say really works. But this is the command center, which everyone receives once they sign up. And it's really the beating heart of your platform. It gives you snapshots into what your results are currently, as well as AI recommendations, but it also gives you access to some of that content that Brendan mentioned with our Manager Learning platform, where we help educate you on best marketing practices as well. And you can follow the links here to see all those articles. So the journey doesn't end once you sign up. We're looking to help educate you and work with you to increase your knowledge base. But let's jump in and see exactly how we can create content, and how Metigy is not just a platform for scheduling content, but also for inspiring you to create content. So we have a raft of tools to help you think of new ways to create content. So this is your content calendar. It gives you a quick overview on exactly what's coming up and what's gone and what's happened in the past. And it's a really easy way to manage your content going out. We jump into an example post. Some cool features on this page, so I won't go into too much detail, so we have enough time at the end for any other questions. But you can preview all your content here, and then jump into our content editor. This is really the coolest part, to be honest. This is where you can save time, schedule your content, and post across all your different channels at once. So you start off by selecting the channels you want. We've got some new features coming in, which we'll touch on at the end. But you always start off by selecting your channel that you want to promote your content, and then you can build your content in real time here, and you can see how that's previewed on the right, which is really helpful. Throughout the whole process, it's worth mentioning that we've got little things like decision support, which we call decision support technology. So at each stage of the content creation process or the ads creation process, you get little insights into exactly when the best time to post your content is, and what days you're getting the most engagement. So this is possibly the most requested, the most queried statistic that people are looking for is, when should I post? So answering some really basic questions that a lot of small, medium businesses struggle with at the beginning is what we look to do. And you can do that with the little touches of AI in here. And in this screen, it's the best time AI on the bottom right-hand side. So I would select that option, create my content here. So as you can see, as I create this, it then reformats into all the relevant platforms. And if you so choose, you can jump in here and customize as well. Touching on that idea of using up wide range, 8,000 customer base to leverage our buying power to bring you a cost-effective way of creating content is an access to millions and millions of images, which would usually cost between $30 and $50 for a stock image on platforms such as Getty Images or iStock. Sorry, internet's a bit slow. But you can then search in here, download the image for as little as $1 to $5. But we also have a full library of free images as well. Throw in your keyword there and you'll see quite a few, an endless scroll of options almost. We also have Giphies as well, integration with Giphy for GIFs, but you can manage all your previously loaded content in here as well. And that's where I got this image from. I just typed in calculator and this image popped up for free. So that is one way of utilizing our group buying power. We also have an integration with Grammarly. So for the practical stuff like writing content, making sure that it looks good, it's got the right tone of voice, you can integrate that as well. I think what I might do is I might jump into Google Ads component, because I know that in that, let's save that. In that poll we put up, there was still a significant amount of people who said that Google Ads was something that they were considering for 2021. And the good news is we have a integrated ad solution, which really takes the Google Ads process, simplifies it, and allows you to create an ad in just a few minutes. Google is typically made for the power user, but we're breaking it down step by step with little hints and tips along the way, so that you can get the right ads out as quickly as possible. I won't take you through step by step how it works, but this is something I created earlier. You select your goal, so perhaps it's website visits, upload your images, and you have, again, access to the same media library that I just showed you. So you can take the exact same piece of content and promote it on Google in a really cost-effective way. Google is the best ROI channel for SMEs. I've got a stat here that businesses on average make $2 in revenue for every $1 they spend in Google Ads. And that's by the Google Economic Impact Report in 2019, if you want to look it up. But I can tell you that is a big part of our strategy internally as well. And it's a great way to increase your reach and your brand awareness at a very cost-effective manner. So creating content is really easy. If you're ever struggling as to exactly what you should write, we've got little tips and tricks here, as well as support articles that Brendan mentioned earlier, which you can find on our Metagy Learning program. It's as simple as then selecting an audience. So in Australia, male, female, 18 to 64, an investment as little as $5. So we give you the lowest cost investment possible to make as a baseline. It's just to get you started so you can test it out, see if it works for you, and take it from there. And this is obviously something you can edit later on in the process as well. So you can really control costs in Metagy. I think in Google itself, it doesn't actually allow you to give a total investment. So if you wanted to bring that total to just $10 and know for a fact that it's only going to spend $10, this is a great platform to control those variables. And then you get to review it at the end and you go live. But as you can see, this would take a matter of minutes, as long as it would take to create a social post. A really powerful, easy to use tool that will save you time. Point that Victor brought up. And the last one I'll show you is our reports module. So Brendan talked a little bit about how you can monitor your competitors, learn what's working for them, either copy or counter their strategy, and use it for your own benefit as well. So this is it takes, again, automated reports. All you have to do is select the competitors you want to follow, and we'll start analyzing their performance and their content as well. You can see here for a couple of competitors that we have, which shall not be named. These are some of the best performing content, but also the engagement metrics that they're getting. So for that question earlier about how can we maximize our engagements, well, one of the best ways to do this is to look at what's working for other people. Because I assure you, a lot of small businesses aren't even looking at their own stats, let alone looking at other people's stats. and Metigy makes that easy for you. Breaks down locations and all these really helpful stats, which also take you straight to the post. So if all these images are clickable, and you can see exactly what it looks like in the real platform. Another place you can find your tab. You can find your competitor insights in the AI recommendations and insights will actually do that analysis for you. So what we want to do is not give you data, we want to give you insights so that you can actually act on them really, really quickly. And if there is one that is relevant to your business and your brand, that will appear here and you can jump straight into that. That concludes the most important parts of the platform that I'd like to touch on. And I guess I might just give you a quick update on where we're going to make SMEs' life even easier with new features. This is an exclusive one that will be released in the next couple of weeks. But what we're doing is bringing graphic design services directly into Metigy. So you'll be able to work with graphic designers in Australia, actually the same graphic designers that we use, brief them on exactly what you need, and then go through an approval process, and you can select the plan as well. So that's another way we're looking to reduce the barriers, creating beautiful, stunning content in a really cost-effective way. And again, this will actually be cheaper than what we're paying with this service because we're looking to bring on a whole raft of users to bring down the costs at a scale that works for these graphic designers. So that plus what we're looking to do at the towards the third quarter of the year, we're looking to bring in copywriting services as well, as well as video creation technology as well. So you'll be able to create video content, which Brendan mentioned is a really big cornerstone of our content strategy for 2021 as we look to replicate what's working for us and then bring it to you guys in a really efficient and scalable way. So that's some really exciting stuff that we have coming up. But I'll probably leave the demo there and let you guys explore Metigy for yourselves to see, how it can best work for your business. So if we are able to take more questions, I think that's a really good time.
No worries. We do have a question that's come through, David. So I think this question was actually directed at Brendan, saying, do we actually need to be on every social media platform, or can we just choose one to save time?
Sure, you can. I might just jump in on that one. You can choose as many or as little as you like. My advice is if you have multiple channels, connect them all, because our analytics or our AI works across platforms to understand the impact on each. It'll also mean we're collecting more data quicker so that we can give you faster recommendations. And also, if you want to leverage the idea of creating content across all your channels at once, then you'll need to connect them all. But that being said, if you want to just trial it out, by all means, just one will be fine.
Not so much a question, but there was a couple of comments from early on, Brendan, when you were asking about some of the challenges that members are currently facing and some of the results were lack of time and resources and also engagement. So I'm not sure if there's a comment or a follow-up you'd like to make based on that, given today's presentation.
Yeah, I think David showed some great ways that Metigy can help you, from day one with, it tells you the best channels to target for the engagement. It's going to save you time by allowing you to post and schedule your content across multiple different platforms. So I think it's great that all the sort of questions today, really came together well, and, we could present a solution that, as David said, it's made by SME marketers for SMEs. And, we have a fantastic offer, 3 months off, 3 months free on our Pro plan, which is our top plan. And if I can share my screen again, Joelle, I'll be able to put up the slide.
1 second while I stop sharing.
And I've had this. Perfect. So if you go to quickbooks.metigy.com, and when you sign up, if you use the promo code Intuit90, you'll get 90 days on our premium pro plan. You can test all these things out. Hopefully a couple of you will be able to get on the phone with Andrew and talk about your marketing strategy, which would be fantastic. We're going to draw one winner after we get the list from today's session to get that $500 of Google ad credits as well. And Kevin from our performance team will optimize that and set that up for you. So that's going to be a fantastic sort of first test for you guys as well. So really looking forward to continuing the conversation with you, getting you inside the platform and helping you grow.
Brendan, there was a follow-up question asking if the platform covers WeChat.
So at this time, we do not cover WeChat. Is that on the roadmap, David?
That is something that's been considered. The way our roadmap works is it's all based on user feedback. So if we're seeing enough requests from users to say, can you please think about an integration with WeChat, then we'll prioritize that. It is been a consideration as it's a massive channel, but only in particular markets. So we are seeing requests, but by all means, as a user, sign up, request that WeChat be accelerated in terms of the product roadmap, and we will consider that in our catch-ups. That being said, we do not have a timeline for that integration, but it's definitely on our minds.
Great, thank you. Just I'm going to put the call out for any last questions that may be from members that are joining us today. One last opportunity to ask David or Brendan a question. So we'll just wait a couple of seconds to see if anything else comes through.
It can be really tactical, like small details, like how do I do this? Or do you have any tips for picking the right types of image? Anything at all.
And I might put Andrew's email, or if Andrew, you're here, if you could put your email in the chat so people can reach out to you for that complimentary strategy session call. You guys can set up a time with Andrew, and we're definitely interested in learning more about your practices, or if you have any other small businesses that you want to connect with Metigy. And really, it's what we love to do is help small businesses grow their.
So just while that's being popped in the chat box, there doesn't seem to be any more questions or comments that have come through today. So I'd really like to take this opportunity to thank Brendan and David for their presentation today and providing quite a comprehensive and detailed overview. And with that, I'd like to hand back to Joelle. Thanks, Joelle.
Thanks, Ketty. And thanks everyone for your participation today. In the next 3 working days, you'll receive an evaluation survey accompanied by the recording of this webinar. We'd really appreciate your feedback as it's extremely valuable to CPA Australia to help us deliver better events for you. Thanks again, and we look forward to welcoming you to another CPA webinar soon.